Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to game 2 of this best of 3 from Go for SC2. It is between Delphi, the Zerg player in the top right position who is up against Frozz, the Terran in the lower left. The map is Cloud Kingdom, and for those of you who are thinking, hang on, game 2, I haven't watched game 1, well, you should pause this video, flick over to my channel and give it a watch, because my goodness, was there some amazing attacks and defense. And well, I'm going to give away who won. It was of course Delphi, after an absolutely insane defense of that mech push from Frozz. And really the problem was Frozz just didn't have an expansion behind it. He was pretty much in a 2-base all-in, and when the push was finally crushed after doing huge amounts of damage, Delphi came back, and that isn't even accounting for the fact that Delphi lost so many drones from Hellion harassment early game and into the mid game. It was, the last I saw, it was like 50 drones killed. After the big mech push, it must have been more like 70, 80. But somehow, Delphi came back, and it was just absolutely amazing. But, well, Frozz, he's going to be frustrated, of course. Being a best of 3, if he loses this game, he will be out. If he wins this game, then he takes it to the third, and all the pressure is on. And, well, in terms of strategy, we should see the same build, really, from Delphi, which will be a 15 hatch, a 16 pull. From Frozz, well, Frozz didn't go for the standard meta game in game 1. We saw a barracks into a refinery. So, obviously going 1 racks gas, not that common. He got the Hellion expand, but it looks like Frozz doing it again, and I can't blame him, because in game 1 Delphi just was not in a good position to deal with those Hellions. He took so much damage, but Frozz didn't really capitalize on that in terms of expanding himself to get the economic advantage. But, well, I can't blame him for doing the same thing. Obviously this drone scouting out quickly as well, doesn't want to get cheesed by anything, doesn't want any really hyper early aggression, so great move sending that drone in. We saw that game 1 as well, and hopefully that we will see Delphi take that drone and go and scout the gas, because of course that is important. Gets a couple of hits off on that SCV just to try and get a kill. And is he going to get the kill? He very well made that single SCV, running away as fast as he can, and well, he's actually repairing the SCV with another SCV to keep it alive. That is absolutely insane, but the kill does go down, so that is quite unfortunate. The gas timings have been scouted. Obviously the hatchery is up for Delphi at the moment. We've got the pull coming down, and now the extractor. So that extractor slightly earlier than we saw in game 1. That's a good move. Hopefully they'll be in a position to start dealing with those horrible Hellions, should they come over yet again if Frozz goes for a similar build to game 1. Now guys, I did mention this in game 1, but exciting things. Basically, I am casting the ZvT tournament, which is, it's the Asian Championship. It's between StarTales Miss and StarTales Aphrodite. It's for $1,000. It's best of 7. That is on the 25th of November. And basically, if you haven't watched it, or I've released this game after them for some reason, then basically do check it out. It's at 5 AM start UK time, so work that all out for yourselves, basically on different time zones you may be in. All the details are on a Team Liquid forum post I put up, so do check it out there. Now, anyway, in terms of this game, what we got going on, we've got the reactor coming down, the factory coming down, we've got the command center on its way, so Hellions into an expansion. Hellion expansion, I'm really loving the way Frozz is doing this. It used to be the go-to build for Terran against Zerg. It's just like Hellion expand, do it every game, and then most games the expansion would be pointless because Hellions were just like, yeah, we're gonna go and just kill all the drones, and then the Zerg player would just be like, oh, rage quit, smash on the keyboard. But obviously then Queen's got the range increase, and it became less effective. But in game 1 we really saw the Frozz utilising the fact that Zerg players have kind of got out of practice of dealing with those Hellions at the earlier point, because usually in the metagame now you see the 1 racks command center opening, which means the Hellions hit a lot later when the Zerg players already got usually a spine crawler up, all 4 queens and things like that. Now the difference on Cloud Kingdom compared to Entomb Valley, which we saw in game 1, is this choke point's a little bit more narrow, and if we do see additional queens come on like we did in game 1, which I really hope we do, which will be 4 queens, then we'll be fine. But actually Delphi responding to this perfectly. He's got his roach run down and getting 7 roaches out, so absolutely fine to deal with these Hellions. They are not going to have fun times in the slightest. The Queen moving forward, just trying to push it back at the time being. But here comes the roaches, and Frozz has been shut down so hard with that opening. Could be in a lot of problems if those roaches decide to just come and counterattack, and that looks exactly what Delphi wants to do. Just going to go and kill him. That could cause huge problems. But of course, if and it is a big if frozz manages to hold. Then obviously Delphi is on equal basis. Drone-wise is behind by 2 already, and is pumping an awful lot of money and resources into this push. So as long as frozz holds it and isn't in a too bad a position, he's in an amazing position. So looking here, we've got the second bunker on its way down, but the Hellions are going to struggle against the Roaches, which have reached the front door. That bunker could get taken down very, very quickly. We've got the 1 Marauder and 2 Marines in the bunker at the moment. Those Hellions poking and prodding backwards and forwards. The Roaches trying to get behind, out of range of that bunker, which is of course the right thing to do. The concern is if that orbital command gets taken down, it could be a bit of an awkward position, but of course we now have the second Marauder there already. That is quite good. Zergling speed rather on its way. Delphi doing a great job of just trying to get out more and more workers at the moment, lifting that orbital command, forcing the Roaches to sit at the back. But of course, what Delphi's achieving here is preventing that natural base from doing anything at all. Not producing SCVs, not mining, generally bad times for the Terran. But as you can see here, we've got some Hellions going in, and all the drones are lining up. There's nothing really there to defend. And, well, how much damage was done there? Only 8 workers killed so far, but of course those drones are still lining up, do manage to get away. And that is really the concern for Delphi, is in Game 1, he was lining up those drones so much and allowing those Hellions to do so much damage. Now we do have some mules getting picked off. That's a surprising cooldown there. The action is really both sides of the map right now, which is obviously awesome to watch. We see these Roaches trying to engage. They want to be careful engaging the Marauders, though, because obviously the Marauders are just built for defending that. And now they have been forced back. Their numbers have got too low, and we have too much infantry on the field at the time being. But having said that, we've got more Zerglings on the way over. Zergling speed is about to be done. Delphi following this up with a lair, also getting up his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gas. So we could see Mutalisks, which on this map could be very, very nice. There's a lot of dead space behind the main base. You can come in, you can pick stuff off, and if there aren't any missile turrets down, that could be big problems. But frozz isn't going for the mech build he went for in Game 1. He is instead getting a lot more barracks up, so he's going for infantry. And looking down here, well, Delphi's got quite a few units. They are going to be in an amazing position to pick off those Hellions if he was paying attention. Unfortunately, the reaction speed a little bit slow. Those Hellions can now just kite those units back, which is obviously brilliant for him. But we do have some more Roaches in production down here. It doesn't actually take many Roaches to hold off a handful of Hellions with the Queens as well. But here we go. We've got those Roaches in there. They are just going, the Hellions going straight through though, heading straight for the mineral line, and the drones getting pulled towards them, and they did line up pretty badly there. More kills coming down, and I've got to say, frozz's harassment is absolutely devastating in this game, as it was in Game 1. Not quite as bad as it was in Game 1, to be fair, but still keeping the drone count down fairly low. And of course, Delphi doesn't have his 3rd base, as he did in Game 1, in order to build them back up quite as quickly. The Spire on its way down, and now what scouting information was achieved? Well, saw the lair, did see that obviously 3rd and 4th gas, didn't scout the Spire, but you can deduce that if the Zerg player is on 2 bases and has got 4 gas, it's likely to be Mutalisks. So obviously this is a good defensive position. The one thing we really need to see though is missile turrets come down, which at the moment we don't have any. There's not even an engineering bay on the oh no, there is an engineering bay there, but still no missile turrets. If they don't come down, we could see some problems, because the Marine count is exceptionally low. Only 2 Marines on the field for the time being, 3 in production though at a time, so they might get up to a decent number in time. But obviously if Delphi saves up enough gas and goes for a large number of Mutalisks, well, there could be some problems with trying to defend just with Marines. So we'll wait and see how that all goes down. Meanwhile, the Zerg player is getting up his 3rd base. That's quite good. These Hellions splitting away, trying to take different angles so they don't all get shut down. 2 get picked off very, very nicely there by the Zerg player, and well, 3 do remain, but of course there's a Queen there, and there's obviously a lot of Zerglings. They are going to get trapped, and that is really unfortunate for frozz, who is just taking an awful lot of damage at the moment. Looking here for Delphi though, in terms of the worker count, 49 to 44 in favour of the Zerg. Not really as big as you'd like it to be at the 10-minute mark. Really, a Zerg, you want to be up to the kind of 70 plus drones way before then. Delphi straight away grabbing out 10 Mutalisks, and well, while there is a 3rd base coming out from frozz, he's got no missile turrets down. He hasn't got a scout off on this at all as far as I'm aware. No, he's got no idea that's down. The Marine count is fairly low as well, I believe. Only 15 Marines against 11 Mutalisks. The Mutas will probably win that fight, even though there is a meta back there. Some Zerglings and Roaches coming in though, and well, they do manage to get a couple of Marine kills, but they are getting forced back by the remainder of the infantry. There's a lot of units there. The bunkers are in great positions, just preventing the Zerg from being able to get a nice round. The 3rd base up for Delphi at the moment. He's got more units here, but the first Mutas have popped out. They are on their way over across the map. they should just go straight up for the mains mineral line because there's pretty much nothing there. Of course, it hasn't been scouted, no missile turrets down, so they're going to be able to do good damage. And all of the Marines for the moment are way out of position. And to be honest, if those mutas come in now, they are going to be able to do absolutely hideous amounts of damage before those infantry units are able to come back to defend. And there's basically no defense here at all. The mutas hitting, and well, what is Frozz going to do? He's going to have to pull back, I assume, or is he just going to go for the counterattack? It looks like the counterattack is the option. Missile turrets getting thrown down ASAP. We've got that command center being stopped at just about a second before it is complete, and I'm really surprised that we're not actually seeing those mutas go for workers and instead going for the third base. That could give Frozz the time to come and do some big damage. He is behind in terms of supply, but he has got good units. He has got the medevacs out. He's got the upgrade advantage. And well, here we go. It's roaches against Marine Marauder, which is pretty strong. And as you can see, big damage being done from both players. Drones getting pulled, but will it be enough? For the moment, it looks like no. Frozz has just got too many units here. The Mutualists rather on their own are not going to be able to do enough damage to base race, and this could be huge problems for Delphi at the moment. It is a big commitment going Mutualists, and in head-on engagements they don't do well. And you can end up in a position where if your opponent decides to come and kill you, you can lose way too much. Of course, those drones lining up, allowing the head-ins to do so much damage. The infantry will get cleaned up, but at what cost? Well, 60 workers killed. Delphi down to just 18 workers, but Frozz not faring much better, only at 37. So obviously the mules are going to have to do a lot. The third base was taken out, but just look at the number of Marines here, and a counterattack could be absolutely massive at this stage. A bunker gets salvaged. We do have more missile turrets coming up for the time being. Those missile turrets absolutely essential to deal with this. We've got a bit of an engagement here. The Marines doing good. The Mutualists have to be very careful against this. There's a very low Marauder count though, so the roaches could be okay until those Marine numbers get a lot higher. We've got an engagement here, but Delphi yet again engaging in a choke, which is not something you want to be doing. You always want to have a better attack arc and force your opponent to engage in choke points. So that was a bad engagement for Delphi in my opinion, and he lost, I believe, nearly all of his Mutualists. Actually, he did lose all of them, so that is a big problem in terms of the resources lost. Nearly 4,000 more resources lost by Delphi compared to the Terran. The third base looks like it's going to be the target. The worker count still way low for the Zerg at only 30. That is not a good position to be in. A couple of Zerglings on their way. Roaches and Zerglings being forced to be built to try and defend this. A good stim. 3 medevacs are able to provide amazing rounds of healing, and as you can see, these roaches are just melting, and it looks like Frozz is going to take this game fairly comfortably now, unless Delphi does something amazing, which of course in game 1 he did, but I just don't feel he can come back from this. He doesn't have the worker count behind this, just more units being produced by the Terran. The roaches getting cleaned out fairly quickly, the reinforcing roaches getting picked up as well relatively fast, and well, great pickup and drop micro of that Marauder. The drones getting pulled as well. A pickup into the medevacs, and they're going straight up to the main base, attacking from the high ground. And now these medevacs are going to be able to just pick up and drop those Marines as they see fit. We've got more units coming back up, but of course wave 2 of this push is on its way from Frozz. As you can see here, an awful lot more units on their way. If we look at the army supply, 60 to 22, and Delphi GG's out, knowing he's just not going to be able to defend that. So guys, that was game 2, and Frozz levels this series up 1 apiece. So I'll see you at game 3 in any second. Flick over to my channel, you'll be able to find it there.